What's up, guys? Welcome back to Carnegie Studios. In this lesson, we're going to be covering 3 ways to practice your chord progressions. Let's get right into it. So, the first way to practice your chord progression, I like to practice my chord progressions so that I'm, number one, comfortable, and also I'm able to play in different ways. And what I mean by that is practice using inversions. So, I'm going to play my trusty old 1-4-5-1, but without playing the root position chords. So of course I can practice in the root position chords 1-4-5-1. But if I want to become more comfortable with this chord progression and I want to know it like the back of my hand or be able to play it without really thinking too much about it, I want to practice in inversions. I want to know, hey, what are the different types of ways I can play it? Because there's more than one way, right? This may be something that you think that is a great thing, or you're like, oh my gosh, there's more than one way. I'll be in analysis paralysis. No, there's no need to be in analysis paralysis. So let's take a look at it. So I can practice the root position, of course. 1, 4, 5, and 1. I can do first inversion practice with some of the chords, right? 1, 4, 5, 1. I can do second inversion practice. So 1, 4, 5, back to the 1. And I'm just using second inversion in the key of C to keep the difficulty down. I can practice different inversions within the chord progression to keep it different, to keep it spicy, however you want to look at it. So 1, 4, 5, 1. And I can also end on different inversions. So I'm starting with the C, right? I can start with C root position to the 4, go to the 5, and then I end with the C second inversion. Or I can start with C first inversion, 4, 5, 1. I'll do. So there's different ways that you can practice it so that you can add to the variety of what you're playing and also become more comfortable with playing it. The second thing goes right along with inversions, and that's voicings. So how am I going to voice this chord progression? Am I going to play octaves in the left hand? Am I going to play the 1 and the 5 in the left hand? Am I gonna go 1, 5, 1, right? So octaves, 1 and the 5, 1, 5, 1 in the left hand, and in the right hand, how am I gonna play it? Am I going to play the whole chord in the right hand, and in the left keep the 1 and the 5 so that I can have them respectively be their own place? Or am I gonna start the chord with my thumb and finish it in my right hand and play that? Voicings matter, and that's something to practice and to keep in mind. Just using different voicings for the C major chord, I can add variety to how I play that chord progression, and that's just with one chord. So let's take a look at it. I'll do the 1 and the 5 in the left hand and play a triad in the right. I'll play it up so it's not muddy. I can do 1, 5, 1 in the left hand, and then first inversion in the right. I can play C like that. I can just do that. So octaves in the left hand, and I just finish the triad in the right hand with just the 2. I'm not going to layer that second C. So I can do several different ways. So let me play it. I played a C major 7 there, if you're wondering. C, F, G, back to the 1. How did I voice that? In my right hand. 1, 5, 1. And then in the right hand, I'm finishing it off, playing the whole 7th chord. And I'm adding this. F, I just played the regular triad. G, regular triad, and then back to the 1, and I can play different. Let's do all 7 chords, right? C, F, G. Well, that wasn't the 7th. That doesn't sound too good, so I'll keep it the G a regular triad. And then back to the 1. On a side note, the reason that G didn't sound too good, G major 7, because it's not diatonic, right? This is not in the key of C, so it's not going to sound the best. So yeah, I can do C major 7, F major 7, G, and then back to the 1. So that's voicings. How are you going to voice it? What are you going to play in the left and the right hand to put it all together so that it sounds how you want it to sound, essentially? And the last thing is to practice in different keys. So when I'm practicing a song, I do my best to practice in at least 2 to 3 different keys. This makes you even more comfortable with the chord progression, and it adds to your knowledge of being able to use the number system in different keys. I use the key of C a lot because it's easy for these videos and these tutorials, but I don't always play in the key of C. I can play the key of D, F, any of the 12 keys I can play a specific chord progression in. Obviously, they're varying in degrees of difficulties, the more sharps and flats that they're in, but you got to be able to know that. So at least 3 different keys. So how I would recommend, if you're a beginner or if you're looking at it and it's a little daunting, do the C, D, and E major scales. The reason being, C has no accidentals in it. The D major scale introduces you to accidentals, and there's only 2 in them. And the E major scale has the most, and that's where it can get a little bit challenging, but it's easy, medium difficulty, and then a little bit hard. So there's 4 accidentals in there. So varying degrees of difficulty, and you can play in any keys. Don't let this stop you from playing in other keys or however you want to do it. But the more you challenge yourself, the more you'll get out of it. So let's play the 1, 4, 5, 1 in all those keys. Key of C, we'll do it. If I don't know it in the key of D, this is one way I can practice it. I can just go the first 5 notes in the scale. Okay, 1, 4, 5. Okay, so I know it. That's the 1, 4, 5, 1. And then the key of E. So let me name those chords. So in the key of D, it'll be D, G, A, and then back to D. And the key of E, it'll be E, A, B, and then E. And there you have it, folks. 3 ways to practice your chord progressions on piano. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.